Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a really unique collection of sources. It's just titled 12 de Julio. And honestly, at first glance, it does seem like a bit of an odd assemblage. You've got, very practical investment advice sitting right next to ancient Stoic philosophy and even some pretty profound Sufi poetry.
Right. Quite the mix.
But our mission here for this deep dive is to kind of unpack how this seemingly scattered material actually builds into a surprisingly coherent philosophy for, let's call it, intentional living. We want to explore how it connects the really practical stuff with the deeper questions, offering you a kind of shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about living a life with purpose.
That sounds fascinating. Where do we start?
So let's dive in right where the document itself begins. It kicks off with a really potent quote from Seneca, the Roman Stoic. He says, "Being poor is not just having too little, it's also craving more."
Yeah.
Almost 2,000 years old, but it feels incredibly relevant today, doesn't it? Okay, let's unpack this a bit. What do you think makes that hit so hard right now?
Well, it's pretty striking how Seneca, way back then, nailed this fundamental human paradox. And it's maybe even more intense now, He saw that poverty isn't just about what you physically have or don't have. It's much deeper. It's an internal state, really, driven by that endless desire, that craving, and that insight. It really forms the philosophical bedrock for everything else in this collection.
Yeah.
It tells us straight up that our whole relationship with scarcity and abundance is fundamentally psychological.
That's such a critical distinction. It really makes you think about how that plays out now.
Absolutely.
The source even gives this striking example. Someone who's content on a modest salary could actually be wealthier than someone earning, say, 10 times more, but who's constantly chasing the next thing, always craving more.
Exactly. It reframes wealth entirely.
Now, this doesn't mean, forget about practical financial planning. Not at all. But it's about the mindset you bring to it.
Precisely. The foundation matters.
And it's easy to keep these philosophical ideas just up here in the clouds, right?
Sure.
But what's really interesting about this collection is how it immediately pivots. It goes straight to practical application. Like, boom, remit Seti's 6 steps to worry-free investing.
Okay, so grounding the philosophy.
Exactly. These aren't just presented as, dry financial rules. They feel like a modern echo of that ancient wisdom. So, let me list those out for you. First, max out your 401k match.
Crucial first step.
Second, pay off high-interest debt. Get rid of that anchor.
Yeah. The costly stuff first.
Third, open and fund a Roth IRA. That's key for tax advantages later.
Right. Important vehicle.
Fourth, then max out your 401k completely if you can.
Building on that foundation.
Fifth, and this is if it applies to you, invest in an HSA, a health savings account. Those can be incredibly powerful tax-wise.
Triple tax advantage, yeah. Very useful.
And then finally, step 6. Open a non-retirement investing account for other goals.
So a clear, logical progression.
Yeah. But how do these practical steps connect back to those Stoic ideas we started with? What's the philosophical echo there?
Well, it's actually a really neat fit when you look closely. They perfectly embody Stoic principles, like focusing on what you can actually control.
Right, your savings rate, your debt payments.
Exactly, and systematically building towards long-term goals, not just reacting to the moment. Each step kind of mirrors philosophical self-mastery.
How so? Give me an example.
Okay, take the 401k match. It's not just about the money itself. It's about recognizing and seizing a clear opportunity, like free money. That's a very Stoic approach. See reality clearly, act decisively.
Okay, I see that.
And paying off high-interest debt. That's essentially eliminating financial chaos. It's clearing away the noise, the drag on your resources so you can think more clearly, have more peace of mind. It's creating order.
Creating order. I like that framing. And that systematic step-by-step method you mentioned definitely clicks with Marcus Aurelius's advice about not procrastinating in actions.
You really does.
It emphasizes that real change, meaningful progress, comes from consistent, deliberate action, not just, random bursts of effort when you feel like it.
Precisely. Discipline and consistency.
Speaking of Marcus Aurelius, he offers what feels like a kind of central organizing principle for this whole collection. It's a powerful quote. In your actions, don't procrastinate. In your conversations, don't confuse. In your thoughts, don't wander. In your soul, don't be passive or aggressive. In your life, don't be all about business.
That's such a rich piece of advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so multi-layered.
Yeah.
He's hitting on, all these different facets of being human. Action, communication, thought, our inner spirit, even our overall life direction. It really speaks to the sophisticated balance needed for, authentic living.
What do you make of that last part? Don't be all about business. Is he saying work isn't important?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. He was emperor, after all. He wasn't suggesting we neglect our duties or careers. It's more about not letting business, whether that's literal business or just the busyness of life, completely consume our existence. Keep perspective.
Okay, so finding that balance, how does that connect back to the investment steps we just talked about? Is there a link?
I think there's a really strong link. Good financial planning, seen through this Aurelian lens, isn't really about piling up wealth just for the sake of it.
Right.
Instead, it serves that larger goal. Life freedom, the freedom to live by these deeper principles, to not be consumed by the business. And Ryan Holiday's commentary on this course really nails this. He says something like, simple is rarely easy, but now that you have these rules, make it your duty to put them into practice.
So the rules are means, not ends.
Exactly. These financial rules, just like the Stoic principles, are tools. They're tools to help you craft a life of meaning and purpose. They aren't the purpose itself.
That's a vital distinction. Tools, not ends. But how do we keep ourselves honest about that? How do we avoid just, getting caught up in the accumulation game anyway?
Well, that really points toward the internal work, the self-awareness piece that the collection also emphasizes. It's about constantly checking in. What's the goal here? Is it just more money, or is it freedom, purpose, the ability to live well?
Got it. Okay, shifting gears just a touch, but still on this theme of clarity. Charles Bukowski makes an appearance here, which might seem surprising.
Yeah, not your typical Stoic philosopher.
Right. But he offers this brilliant distinction. An intellectual says a simple thing in a hard way. An artist says a hard thing in a simple way.
I love that quote. And it actually provides a great lens for looking at this whole document, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, think about it. Both the investment steps and the Stoic principles we've discussed really embody that artist side of Bukowski's idea.
Okay.
The financial steps. They take something that feels complex and maybe overwhelming personal finance and boil it down to 6 clear, actionable things. Simple.
Right. Accessible.
And the Stoic principles do something similar. They distill centuries of deep philosophical thinking into practical, understandable guidelines for living. Hard things said simply. Both approaches really honor that artistic ideal of making complex truths accessible, usable.
That's a great connection. And then Rumi adds another layer with his advice to let silence be the art you practice. How does that fit in? It seems almost counterintuitive in our noisy world.
Well, that call for silence, for quiet reflection, it's maybe more important now than ever because of the noise. In our information overloaded age, endless analysis can just lead to more confusion, not less. We get paralyzed.
Definitely felt that.
But silence, as Rumi suggests, it cultivates that inner space. It allows you to cut through the static, the chatter. It's where real understanding can actually emerge, where those simple, profound truths can finally be heard without all the interference. It's where intuition gets a chance.
So simplicity in expression and silence for reflection. Got it. Now, the collection broadens the focus again, moving beyond just personal mastery. It draws on Tolstoy's calendar of wisdom to talk about, the fundamental unity of all living beings.
Ah, yes, a really profound theme.
Tolstoy writes that the foundation of love isn't just sentiment, it comes from understanding that shared divine spark living inside everyone.
And the key here is that this isn't just presented as, a lovely philosophical idea. It's framed as a deeply practical insight into human nature.
How practical.
Well, when we genuinely recognize that deep connection, that shared spark, then acts of kindness, of helping others, they stop being, obligations or calculated moves. They become natural expressions of that recognized unity. Arthur Schopenhauer, who Tolstoy quotes, actually noted that charitable actions often seem mysterious and unexplainable to people who don't grasp this underlying unity. Because for those who do, it just flows naturally from that sense of connection.
That makes sense. And Charles Dickens puts it so simply. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another.
Beautifully said.
And Flora Edwards adds that circular idea. In helping others, we shall help ourselves, for whatever good we give out completes the circle and comes back to us.
Right. And this principle, this idea of unity and service, gains even more weight when you loop it back to the financial planning we discussed earlier.
How so? Seems like a jump.
Well, think about it. When we manage our money wisely, systematically, like those 6 steps suggest, we're not just securing our own future, we're also putting ourselves in a position where we can help others. where we can contribute meaningfully to the common good. Lighten those burdens Dickens talked about.
Okay, I see. So financial responsibility isn't just self-interest.
Exactly. It can transform into a form of service. It enables generosity. It enables contribution. It becomes part of that circle.
That's a powerful reframe. Now, the document brings us towards a close with what feels like the ultimate insight, tying so much together. It says, "It is better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles. Then the victory is yours. It cannot be taken from you, not by angels or by demons, heaven or hell."
Wow. That's quite the statement.
It really points towards the ultimate goal, doesn't it? The real work isn't out there. It's in here. Internal transformation.
Absolutely. And the striking thing is how all the different practices mentioned in this collection, the investment strategies, the Stoic disciplines, even cultivating that Rumi-esque silence, they all ultimately lead towards this internal victory, this self-mastery.
They're all tools for that inner work.
Precisely. They're about cultivating that inner world, achieving that self-conquest.
And then there's this passage from Notes from Nora that echoes it perfectly. Happiness cannot be traveled to, own, earn, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the experience of living your life with love, grace, and gratitude. Which brings us right back full circle to Seneca at the beginning, doesn't it? That idea that poverty is craving more. Happiness isn't about external stuff. It comes from these internal states. Love, grace, gratitude.
It really does tie it all together. And this leads us to what feels like the central unifying principle of the entire collection. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts.
Oh.
That single insight, that principle is really why this document can move so seamlessly,
Yeah.
Between giving practical financial advice 1 minute and offering deep philosophical reflection the next.
Because both are about thinking well.
Exactly. Whether you're deciding about your Roth IRA or contemplating Marcus Aurelius, both domains at their core are fundamentally about the quality of your thinking, your inner framework, how you choose to see and engage with the world.
So integrating all this, what does it really mean for you listening right now? I think this collection brilliantly shows that these things, wisdom traditions and practical life skills, they aren't separate boxes. They're actually deeply complementary parts of living a mature, well-rounded life.
Yeah, the implicit argument here is really powerful. It's saying that true wisdom isn't just about philosophical navel-gazing, nor is it just about being hyper-competent in the world. It involves both.
Competent action and the right perspective.
Right. Competent engagement with the external world and the cultivation of the right internal perspective. And Marcus Aurelius is maybe the perfect example, isn't he?
How so?
Well, here's the most powerful man in the Roman Empire. He couldn't just retreat to a monastery. He had immense worldly responsibility.
Right. Very in the world.
Very much so. Yet he profoundly understood that all the external achievements, the power, the victories, they meant nothing without inner development, without that quality of thought. His advice, don't be all about business, but also don't procrastinate, perfectly captures that essential balance.
So that title, 12 de Julio, it kind of suggests this isn't just stuff for a one-off read, is it?
No, I think it implies something more like daily reflection rather than just occasional inspiration. Each piece of wisdom in here feels like a tool ready to be picked up and used today, tomorrow, whenever you're navigating life's complexities.
Like a toolkit for living.
Exactly. And maybe the collection's final gift is this sense of liberation. You don't actually have to choose. You don't have to pick between being practical and being philosophical.
Or between managing your money well and cultivating wisdom.
Right. Or even between taking care of your own needs and serving others. The highest expression of being a mature human, this collection suggests, involves weaving all of these threads together into one coherent way of life.
So perhaps the final thought is this. The practice of intentional living, as laid out here, it starts with understanding that poverty is craving more. It then proceeds through taking systematic, thoughtful action in the world, like those financial steps, and it culminates. It culminates in recognizing that the victory that truly matters, the one that can't be taken away, is the victory you achieve over yourself.
And in that internal victory, all the other wins, financial, worldly, whatever, find their proper place, their true meaning.